Connection, sponsored by Sterling Chiropractic.
Hello and welcome everyone to Sports Connection. I'm Hunter Smith alongside Brian Webb. Thank you so much for joining us. Brian, we got a great show for you all tonight. DG Sherill is back as the Purples basketball coach. We'll talk to him later in the show. Also have Kelly Reynolds joining us, her and her team, as well as coaches and players across the country getting some real tough news this week with the cancellation of the spring sports season. We'll talk to her, and then we continue our senior spotlight.
Another bad news we got, Chris Marcus, WKU Hilltopper, passed away, and I hate to hear that. I was living out west when he played, but I didn't get to see him play live, but hearts and prayers to that family.
Absolutely, and like I said, tough news this past week, the cancellation of the spring sports season. A lot of it almost felt like it was just the delaying of the inevitable, but still, you get that news, your heart sinks, and your heart really goes out for those spring sport athletes.
Yeah, and I thought about that same scenario you just mentioned, and I wondered to myself, would I want to know right then, or would I wanted to have be able to cling to some hope, and I would have wanted to be able to cling to some hope, but we did get that news, and again, this whole thing's been so gut-wrenching. I just hope that we're at the point now where we're starting getting good news, Hunter.
Absolutely. Now, see, I would have been the one to say I would want to know right up front.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
We're all different human beings, but any glimmer of hope, I like that aspect of having some hope.
Absolutely. Now, we did have some sense of normalcy kind of returning to sports as we had the NFL draft happen this past weekend. Obviously, Roger Goodell was the worst part of the draft, as always. And with all things considered, it went very smoothly with everything being virtual. I was really hoping something was going to happen.
You would have thought something would have went wrong, but they did a great job at it. And like you said, it was just a little bit of an injection of joy as far as sports go to get to see that. And, man, your alma mater did really well. 2 in the first round. It's never happened, has it?
It's never happened before, and there were actually 7 players from the state of Texas that went in the first round. None of them going to the University of Texas or Texas A&M, which makes me very happy. But 2 players out of TCU, Jalen Rager going to the Eagles, Jeff Gladney going to the Minnesota Vikings. Those guys are going to do really well.
I think there were a lot of Hilltoppers that were draft worthy in this thing, but I was hoping Lucky would have got lucky and got picked up there. But I think we'll see some things down the line, free agency coming for him.
Absolutely. Plenty of undrafted free agents have gone on to do great things in the NFL. Well, we have to take a break. When we come back, Coach Kelly Reynolds of South Warren Baseball joins us in the show. Then later, Purple's basketball coach DG Sherill will be following that, and Senior Spotlight. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Connection, and with us now is Kelly Reynolds, the head coach of South Warren Baseball. Coach, obviously these last couple months have been frustrating, but then this last week, really kind of a gut punch with the official announcement of the cancellation of the spring season.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things we expected, I guess, deep down, kind of knew that it was possibly coming, especially after on Monday when they made the call that we would not be going back to school and that NTI would be continuing for the rest of the school year. It was kind of just a matter of time before KHSAA came out with their ruling.
And then you have a handful of seniors on your team this year. Were you able to, how quickly were you able to get a hold of them after the announcement came?
As soon as I had found out about it, I actually contacted all my players immediately and just to let them know the news. And it's just heartbreaking. I have 5 seniors, and 3 have committed to go on and play college ball. So they'll be able to put their cleats on again and get out on the field, hopefully soon at the college level. And then I have 2 that haven't committed and weren't planning on playing in college. So it's just very unfortunate for all, but especially for the 2 that it was finally their time to get out and shine and do what they love to do on the field for their last senior year.
Coach Brian Webb here. Again, my sentiments are ringing true, just like Hunter's. Gut-wrenching time for all these students, all the way down to kindergarten. I mean, it's a different situation that you and I didn't have to ever face. And you being a Western grad, but played at MTSU, Miss Kentucky softball back in '95. What a great coach to have for these girls. My thing was I wanted to hear you maybe talk a little bit about these 5 seniors individually real quick, and just maybe give us a cool thing about each one of them.
Yeah, okay. So Jess Bush, she is a David Lipscomb commit, and she's planning on attending there in the fall. She'll be a catcher. Jess is one of those that, gosh, she's just has a great attitude on and off the field. Heart of gold. She led our team last year in highest batting average. She is just a dominating force on the softball field. She has great leadership skills, and she will do wonderful things at Lipscomb. But gosh, this was her year to really shine. She coming in strong. She'd been working hard. She also is a basketball player, so multi-sport athlete. And, we were just really excited for this year, for her to have her senior year, kind of what she's looked forward to and waited on. And another one of our seniors, Taylor Enlow, she is going on to play at Asbury, and she's a pitcher and also plays the field for us. That was one thing this year. All of our pitchers were going to be definitely positional players that were going to be very important. Taylor's also a basketball player, and so she's another multi-sport athlete, and she is a heck of a shortstop as well and can play even first base. But the thing is with Taylor is she came in strong her sophomore year when that was right after like Shelby Nunn and Carson Williams had graduated, and so she came in and we kind of kept her hidden a little bit. Like we didn't really let her hit that year because we had to have her pitching. And then last year we were able to kind of cut the apron strings a little bit and put her in offensively a lot, and she did phenomenal offensively. So again, unfortunate for Taylor for this year being her senior year, not being able to play. And then our third senior is Peyton Pruitt, and she is going on to play at Campbellsville. She was our starting center fielder, and Peyton works so hard. She is one of those, she will give it her all. She is willing to do whatever you ask her to do. And so we were really looking forward to her. She's quick in the outfield. She runs bases well. And she's kind of one of those on the bases. At times I tell her she'd make me really nervous. She'd get a big jump, and I'm like, easy, Peyton. And she'd kind of give me that look like, I got it, coach, I got it. And she always did. And then another one of our seniors is Maddie Bryant, and she was going to be our starting first baseman this year. And she's played softball ever since in middle school at South Warren, and this was her year. She had really worked hard last year and proved herself and had been working hard in practice. She was one of our captains this year. She's kind of one of those, she's quiet, but she is very uplifting as a teammate, and good positive support with each other, with the other teammates, with the coaching staff. One of those that she'll ask, Coach, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do better? And she will always change whatever she's doing to make herself better. And then our fifth senior is Addie Allen. And Addie last year actually had knee surgery and missed the majority, well, actually all of her junior season. So this year was a huge year for her. She comes in strong at the plate. She can hit a ball. She's kind of one of those that in years past maybe didn't always have those opportunities, but she had been working really hard to recover from her knee surgery. And she was actually injured her sophomore year too. It kind of started her sophomore year, and then she had knee surgery her junior year, and then finally was ready to come in this year. She is also a pitcher, so she would have come in and seen some time on the mound in different games and some time in the outfield. So the opportunities were there for all of them. It's just so unfortunate, especially for our seniors, not only for all of our athletes, but especially our seniors.
Coach, we're about out of time here, and I just, my kind of last question is, as a coach, how do you really go about telling your players, you guys were working so hard for this upcoming season, what do you tell them when it's been canceled?
We had been doing kind of regular team meetings through Zoom, and we had our last one Tuesday night, and it was really an emotional Zoom meeting. I try not to get that way, but I just couldn't help it. I think this whole situation has just been very emotional for everyone. And I told the girls our team motto this year was "Hard work defines greatness," which was very fitting for this year. We had decided on that motto back in January, and so had no idea what was coming into play, but we said that at this point, this is all about hard work defines greatness in you. So from this point on, you just continue working hard. You continue to get better at your position, offensively, defensively, work on whatever you need to work on, and then be ready. When it's time and things are lifted and we're ready to get back out on the ball field, just be ready. If it's through travel ball this summer, and then hopefully, getting back on our field soon as well.
Coach, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on and, taking the time to really, brag about your seniors. We do have to take a break. When we come back, DG Sherill is back coaching the Purples, and Brian and I will chat with him next.
Welcome back to Sports Connection. Joining us now via FaceTime is the new but old coach for the Bowling Green Purples, DG Sherill, as Sherill is back leading the boys basketball program with 307 wins under his belt, 7 district championships, 6 of those were region titles, and 4 Elite Eights, 3 Final Fours, 1 runner-up, and the only state championship basketball team in the program. Coach, thanks so much for being with us, and welcome back to the game.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. It's exciting. I'm pretty excited to be back.
We're excited to see the news, and we thought, man, we got to get DG right on here and find out his thoughts. And, good news in a time when we really want good news. And, we hated to see clubs step away, but it's great to have you back with the wheel. And you got a great group of guys there to start off with. And I don't know if you've been able to, in your 25 years of coaching, 12 of them with the Purples as a head coach, I don't know if you ever started with a team that good, have you?
Well, no, I mean, this is a phenomenally talented basketball team. And, like you, I hate to see clubs step away, too. He's like my little brother. We've been together a long time. And so stepping back into this team, I know from playing from him the last 3 years, they know how to play. And I'm just excited to be back on the bench. Just wish I could get access to him. This pandemic and things is making things a little more restricted. But keep things in perspective. People got it a whole lot worse than us missing out on a little bit of high school basketball.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Coach, you had been serving as the athletic director these past couple of years. Kind of what was the drive for you to come back into coaching?
When I got out of coaching, I think I just never really got out of it mentally. The opportunity for me to go into district administration, I had a daughter in college at the time, and she's since graduated. Now I have my second daughter's in college. And so, when you look at those expenses and you get the opportunity to take a job that is a significant pay increase, then it gives you some added responsibilities, some things that maybe you've wanted to do your entire career in school administration if you haven't had the opportunity to yet. So I stepped into a job that I love. I get to do really meaningful work from 8 to 3. And so everything about that move made sense to me. The only thing that the regret that I had, or probably the feelings that I had, is I still had an itch to be on that sideline, to be in that gym with people. And every time I walk in that gym and I'm around that gym and I hear those shoes squeaking, I want to grab my whistle and start telling people how to keep your man in front of you, go grab a rebound, And so it's like, it's an itch that I think anyone that's done it and has done it as long as I've done it, you talk to other veteran coaches, they all still got that itch they want to scratch. And to be able to have this opportunity is really something I never thought would come my way again.
Yeah, that's profound that you are back in that position. And again, we're very glad to see that happen. I've seen you coach many games and got to interview you many, many times on radio. And it's always been fun. But I saw you in 4th Region. And, we didn't know that 4th Region was going to be the end of our sports for quite some time. So that makes us even relish it more. But, I could see you in your seats. It's hard to stay still. And you want to be out there, I know. And you're going to get to do that again. Coach, what's it been like, though, as an athletic director, having to, tell these parents all these things that have came to pass in the last 6 weeks? What's it been like to be in your position?
Well, it's just been, it's miserable. You see the spring sports folks, from your baseballs, your softballs, your track. All these young tennis, all these young folks that were primed up for a season and getting ready to start. I was in Lexington when the girls' Sweet 16. I was actually in the arena and got a call from Butch Cope from KHSAA and was told before we could tell everybody back home, hey, the tournament's ending at the end of this game. And, our girls are getting ready to come over on a bus they played that evening and the kind of year they had. So, but, our girls and boys basketball team had a basketball season. Our baseballs and softballs and tennises and tracks, they didn't get to have that season. They didn't get to have that opportunity out there. And, your lacrosse teams. And so, it just was really it's been a sad time for them. But, when you go home and you put it in perspective and you watch the numbers that are coming up with people with this terrible virus and the deaths and the people in a hospital and the severity of it, it puts it in perspective. And even though it's in perspective, I still think there's a void there. Our senior class at our high school and what they're going through in all senior classes at all high schools. My daughter is a freshman at UK, and she had to come home, and now it's in doubt whether she's going to get to return in the fall and have classes. So, to see what kids are having to go through, and we're all having to go through, the uncertainty and the uncertain times, it's really confusing. It's disheartening. But, when people are taking this serious, then we're dealing with something that is very serious.
Yes.
Coach, did you almost feel like when the spring sports season and the Sweet 16 was postponed, did you almost think it was delaying of the inevitable, or were you legitimately hopeful that the season would eventually resume?
I was not hopeful from the beginning. I thought there was a slight chance, but when you saw what the numbers were doing in some of your larger metropolitan areas and how they just kept going up and kept going up, I thought KHSAA did as good a job as they could with a very difficult situation. They kept hope alive as long as they could, and you understand that. But you just knew as they sent us all home, put us on NTI for regular school, and then the numbers just start creeping up. We weren't testing anyone, so no one really knew, the extent of of how bad the virus was. You just had a lot of doubts that we would ever be able to get back on the fields or on the courts this year.
Coach, we just got about a minute left of time, and I want to ask you, what's the routine of a coach that you're having to get back into? What would you say is going to be maybe the most difficult?
Probably the most difficult part of the routine is the off-season stuff, and my wife, I tease, she always tells me not to be home before 11, but I think she's that the family adjustments. Being in the gym is second nature for me. I love being in the gym. Practice is my favorite part of coaching, and watching kids get better. So that's generally the hardest part for people. But I think the adjustments that not only I had to make, but my family will have to make to give that kind of time back up, because it is a significant commitment on time. And I think that's going to be probably the largest adjustment for all of us going forward. Something I'm excited to do, but it will be an adjustment for 3 years of having a different routine.
Coach, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for talking to us. We got to take a short break, but we got Senior Spotlight coming up next, so don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, and now it's time for Senior Spotlight, the segment of the show where we take a look and highlight those local seniors that, well, now officially are not going to get that final season. Brian, let's get things started up. First, we have Kelsey Sparks from Warren East High School. Kelsey has been playing varsity softball for the Lady Raiders since the 7th grade and is in the top 10 for Warren East in batting average, hits, singles, and runs scored. That's top 10 in both single season and career. Kelsey has also played varsity basketball all 4 years at Warren East and ran cross country her sophomore year. Kelsey will be attending and playing softball for Morehead State this fall.
Next up, out of Warren East is Haley Heimer. During her time as a Warren East Lady Raider, Haley helped Warren East claim back-to-back middle school state softball championships back in 2014 and 15. And in high school, Haley has helped the Lady Raiders softball finish as the state runner-ups in 2018 and 2019. Haley will be attending and playing softball at Lindsey Wilson College this fall.
Now out of Warren Central, senior Justin Borden. Justin's played football and ran track and field, was also supposed to play outfield this season for Coach Shockley in baseball. In football this past season, Justin earned the Culver's Player of the Week, as well as All-Sky Conference football team, first team offense. Last track season in the Class 2A state meet, Justin placed 3rd in the long jump and 8th in the triple. At the 2020 KTCCCA Indoor State Championship, he finished 2nd in the long jump. Justin will be continuing his track and field career at Lindsey Wilson College.
Next up, we have Haley Scott out of Allen County, Scottsville. Haley is a catcher for the Lady Patriots softball team. She's been been playing the sport since she was 4 years old. Haley will be attending the South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College nursing program, then plans to transfer to WKU as she pursues a career as a nurse practitioner. Way to go.
And our last senior for this week out of South Warren High School, Adam Burns. Adam is a second baseman for the Spartans with a fielding percentage of .937. At the plate, Adam has a career batting average of .319 with 32 career RBIs, and out of 146 at-bats, just 13 strikeouts. Adam has a .394 GPA and will be attending WKU in the fall.
Awesome seniors.
Awesome
seniors. We've got more to do.
That's the problem. We have too many seniors to try and fit in all in one show, but that's why, again, we're spreading out, try to get 5 to 7 each week.
It's awesome that we have the platform to get to do this on, and I notice all the schools doing the signs, and you can really tell that everybody has went, all gung-ho and showing these kids how much we love them and what they're dealing with at the time. Justin Borden, though, man, I did call one night. I called 3 touchdowns on him, and he ended up getting 3 touchdowns that night. Just a great athlete. All these kids are.
Absolutely, and Justin's someone we've had on Sports Connection several times. Always a great kid. And, you talk about, just all these schools doing the signs and the lighting of the fields. That's actually something that's going on across the country. My brother's high school down in Texas, they did a lighting of the fields this past week.
Well, we would still encourage you, if we've missed somebody or if you think we've missed somebody, let us know. Keep them coming. We're going to do this as long as they'll let us keep going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, just any information on them, what sports they played, stats, where they're going, what they want to do outside of college, everything like that. That's what we want to spotlight here.
Best pick in the draft as far as you're concerned?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm interested to see how Joe Burrow does, just because I think Cincinnati has some holes there at the offensive line that if you don't have any protection, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. What about you?
I don't know. I think some teams really got some steals like Bowden. I think the Raiders did really good in this, Las Vegas. I think they did a great job. And there were some other teams that got some guys early that I thought would be later. So a lot of deals being going on there behind the scenes.
I liked the Arizona Cardinals draft overall. I think they got the offensive lineman that they needed. They got him a little bit later, but still they picked up some good talent there, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
What are the Packers trying to do, though? Is Aaron Rodgers, they're folding up the Aaron Rodgers era? I don't know. We'll see.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you all for joining us. Please keep us sending seniors our way that we can spotlight them here on the show. Have a good night, everyone.